Hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm probably not a little bit more movie reviews. I got something to catch up on. I've got four, which I will start off with. The one I've seen the most recent, and probably the most controversial of all of them is Glass, because Glass is a pretty dismissed, not so gleamed up movie that critics have been seeing it and not really seeing it within that great spectrum. But I'm here to offer you my perspective on the movie, and in this movie, it is the third and essential type of wrap-up for the M. Night Shyamalan trilogy-esque of his movies: Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. And truth be told, I love Unbreakable. I thought Unbreakable, watching it with more modern eyes, I think, Unbreakable is probably one of, if not my favorite Shyamalan movie, and then Split is another great one among his greats, or his plenty of stinkers. And so the question is, how does Glass live up to this? Is it a great third installment, or is it a bad? Or is it a good movie, or whatever you want to ask? And when it comes to it being a good third installment, it may not be all that great, but for what it's worth, in my view, I think as just a movie itself, I quite liked it. So in this movie, you got these three characters: David Dunn, played by Bruce Willis. You got Elijah Price, aka known as Mr. Glass, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and you got the Horde, Kevin, played by James McAvoy, and they're all taken into an insane asylum therapist type of angle, led by Sarah Paulson. And of course, they work at various angles towards each other, and yet try to break out and try to, have this big type of finality towards the three characters, and what we're seeing them building up towards all this. Here's the thing. First things first, I really like the setup. I like where the story goes. It makes the most sense. We knew at some point these three characters had a crossover. The only question was, how would they cross over, and or what kind of circumstances and or environment would factor in. And really, because they're so quite disillusioned towards themselves within their own abilities, like, do they believe it or not? Like, Kevin is 100% sold. Mr. Glass is kind of iffy. Bruce Willis' character is kind of iffy on it, and then, Vincent's Price, Samuel L. Jackson's character, is quite committed on his idea of himself. I'm really itchy for some reason. Oh my god. But regardless, I thought the idea, the setup of it, the whole plot made the most sense to me. Is that, yes, these characters would kind of collide together. The question is, what kind of circumstances would lead us together? And I thought this was kind of like the most appropriate needed idea, since they're so committed or not towards what they need to do. And you bring in Sarah Paulson's character, who's like this therapist in a way, this psychoanalysis person, this woman who tries to break to them. She tries to break it to them like, hey, maybe you're self-crandalizing, maybe you're wrong about all this, maybe, and they're playing close to their cards, like, and it's really intriguing to see that go through. You also bring back other characters, like Anya Taylor-Joy's character from Split. You got David's son from Unbreakable. I'm back. I like seeing them back in this movie. I love Anya Taylor-Joy in this movie. I loved her in the Split, and she's a great actress. I love all really good. Also, the acting for the most part is really good. I would say this. This and Wes Anderson's what was it? His 2012 movie. It seems like these are the last two movies where Bruce Willis has genuinely given a good performance. Like, in recent years, he hasn't really cared all that much. But this year, it seems like he's really actually giving it all the way. And I liked how subdued, controlled, and truly stoic in his character. And I love that about him. Like, there's a moment in the movie, you see it in the trailer, when Kevin's like, of course. And he looks at him like, you fucking real? And it's just that kind of slow aged jadedness really kind of works with his character well. I love that. The relationship with everyone else was really well established. Of course, James McAvoy just really kind of stole the movie for me. If I had to truly stick to my guns and really say what really made me sold to this movie all the way through, what really held this movie toward the very end is James McAvoy. His performance in this movie just rivals his performance in Split. It's just incredible. I loved him in this movie. Also, Samuel L. Jackson is really good in this role as well. His cleverness, his cunning, his intellect. He's just really wicked of a character, and I love it. Also, the actress, who I forget her name, who plays his mom, is also really great. I will say, the actor who plays David Dunn's son, at times is good, at other times he's really not. It's like, bless your heart, kid. You're trying, but you're not all great. For the acting, the plot, for the most part, I was intrigued at the very least. And to be fair, even though I have seen other people give their opinions on this movie, I haven't got my spoiler thoughts, what other people thought the spoilers. So that, for me, is really on my own table. So I'm coming to my own conclusions here. For what it's worth, I thought the story and narrative made the most sense. Some of the characters' decisions aren't that great. Elements, the cinematography is really kind of off. As much as I love composing shots and colorizations within these colors of the characters, like purple for Mr. Yellow for Kevin, purple for Samuel L. Jackson, green for Bruce Willis. I like the colorization, that pulpiness. It gives it that glow for a comic book feel. But the way it's shot, cinematography isn't all that great. The script at times needs some polishing. There's a couple moments where I'm thinking, this doesn't make much sense. It kind of needs to be redone in these kind of ways. The plot doesn't make... The plot, as much as it intrigued me and as much as it made sense, some of it isn't too clear at times. It doesn't make that much sense at times. Also, as much as I am a Sarah Paulson, as much as I like Sarah Paulson as an actor, she is 100% dull, one-note exposition in this movie, and she was, as much as where Kevin was my big strength for this movie, she was my big weakness. She was whenever she's talking, which is important because she's very vital to the plot. She just felt like, I'm like, yeah, you're giving off exposition, you're giving off facts. I understand this for a little bit, but it just gets old and repetitive, and her character just starting to get grating and really, really one note. And truthfully, it just kind of just wore on her. The movie also isn't that great to look at times. Like, I love the colorization, as I said, but again, the way it's shot, the cinematography is just bad at times. And I don't like what happens to. Again, I'm not giving too much away. I don't like for certain characters. What happens to certain characters, I don't like. Yeah, what happens to other characters, and get the actual note of what the ending itself does. I like, it kind of finally gets. Again, I'm trying to hold back to no spoilers. I'm probably not gonna make a spoilers video for the record. But for the most part, it's like, I really am a bit of a two minds on this movie. It's not well shot. There's a lot of screw-ups here. Sarah Paulson, I think, was an utter waste. Her character was really one note. When focuses in the asylum at times, the pace kind of drags at times. It does kind of drag, but it's those character interactions, especially between Samuel L. Jackson and James McAvoy, which at the very least sparked my interest. And it really was, for me, through the characters and the performances and their interactions that really pulled me through in the end. Again, it wasn't due to... And the action, for the most part, was enjoyable. It was good. The way it's choreographed is fine, but again, I question the cinematography and so much more directing approaches to this. It just doesn't make sense, and it's not really all that spectacular. It's like, really, for me, this is kind of a run-of-the-mill, good enough. There's enough I like, there's enough I don't like in this movie. So for me, I'm kind of split. Jesus, that was an unintentional pun there about the movie. So the real question is this for me: does glass break under pressure, or does it crease through? And I would say, in my mind, it barely creases through, just purely due to the characters and the interactions and the writing for them and their interactions and chemistry. That, for me, is what the film really rides on, and in the end, for me, really kind of, is his ultimate, in my view, biggest strength. And in the end, that's my final opinion. It's just barely a fresh. I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but I would say I at least enjoyed it, and I can sincerely see why. And I can, at least in my view, understand why other people don't like it. So for me, this is kind of like 2019's Solo in a way. It's like I enjoyed it, even though I can see why others don't. In the end, that's my opinion on Glass, and in the end, I'm gonna give Glass, in my opinion, a 62%. That's my rating for the movie, everyone. I really do hope you enjoy it. And in the end, that's my opinion. As always, thank you very much. And I'll see you in the future for my review for Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. Till then, peace. Bye.